Yo, what's going on, everybody? Derek here, bringing you another random review. What I got for you guys today is a film from Wild Eye Releasing. I believe this film was made in 2013, but it was put out in physical media in 2015. And it's from a director that I know and I actually enjoy the films I've seen from him. And his name goes by Richard Griffin. He's a indie director from the New England area, which I'm actually from, which is pretty interesting because a lot of his films do take place in New England, and some do take place in Boston, like Murder University. He also directed None of That and The Disco Exorcist. And this film takes no exception with that, and it goes by the title of Frankenstein's Hungry Dead. It is also known as Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead, which makes sense when I tell you the plot of the film. Now, this film takes place in Salem, Mass, and it involves this group of, I believe they're in high school or college kids, and they go on like this field trip with their teacher to this wax museum. And they meet the tour guide of this wax museum, Dr. Frank, who's played by Michael Thurber, who's a well-known actor in the Richard Griffin circle of actors. He was in Murder University and Exhumed, which I haven't seen yet, but I know he was in it. And he takes them on this tour, and this wax museum is really great looking. I'll get into that more in my final thoughts of the film. And while they're having this tour, one of the girls talks to her boyfriend who's there and they have this idea of coming back later on when the wax museum's closed and fooling around in it pretty much. And they do end up going back there. But what happens is the rest of the group actually goes with them. But unbeknownst to them, that Dr. Frank is actually a descendant of Dr. Frankenstein, and he is continuing his ancestors' work inside this wax museum. He finds out that these kids are upstairs in his museum, so he unleashes his undead onto them. He has a bunch of failed experiments that are kind of like zombies in a way, the way they act, and they go and start picking off these kids, and it's pretty much the kids trying to survive and getting out of this wax museum in one piece. That's pretty much the main plot of the film. Now, my thoughts on it. It's one hell of a fun ride. And now let's get into the setting of this wax museum, which I really enjoyed. This was set in a wax museum. I guess this is a real wax museum inside Salem, Mass, which is really interesting because I've been to Salem, but I never actually went to any of the museums or anything around that area. So I actually want to check that place out next time I go. And it was really cool because it had all these iconic horror figures inside. They have multiple Christopher Lee statues of him as Dracula and Frankenstein, and there was a lot of cool even the Lord of Darkness from Legend was in one of the wax figures, and Peter Cushing and Alfred Hitchcock, and there's just a bunch of them, and you'll recognize notable horror figures inside while you're walking around this wax museum. It was really cool to look at, and it was really beautifully shot. This film had a lot of cool colors that I really enjoyed, greens and reds, and it was really interesting. Now, the acting for the most part is decent. It's a low budget indie flick, so it's some shaking. Michael Thurber is pretty much the best actor in the film. He actually steals the show as Dr. Frankenstein. He pulls a over the top performance with he has kind of an accent in this film, a German accent, which is really cool. There's some funny moments throughout. Richard Griffin is a director who has a certain type of humor, and you have to really get it to actually understand his humor. It's really fun, and I actually enjoy his humor. So I had a blast going into this, and yeah, now onto like the effects and stuff. For the most part, the practical gore is okay. There is a few scenes with like some CGI added to them, as you can see in like the film when you watch it, and it kind of bothered me, and especially one scene which I thought would be awesome if it had like practical blood spray. But I there's a lot of good like practical gore effects in this film too that make up for those CGI scenes, which are minimal. But it would have been nice if that one scene that I wanted had like practical stuff in it. But I'm not gonna complain because I did have fun. Now, like for the Hungry Dead, they're pretty much like normal looking people, but they have like stitches and stuff. The characters, for the most part, are fun, and like I said with Richard Griffin's humor, there's some like over the top humor that goes into this film where you have to really see a lot of his films to get his style of humor, which might throw some people off. I won't lie, but I do recommend Frankenstein's Hungry Dead if you like fun like homages to B movies and stuff. There's some like sex scenes in this, and it's really like funny, some of them. And yeah, there's nothing really much else I could say about it. It's a really fun ride. If you like Frankenstein films and films set in like wax museums, it's one you need in your collection, and is a good like director's commentary and director's interview with Richard Griffin, and it's really informative of how this film was filmed. So yeah, I highly recommend you check out Frankenstein's Hungry Dead. If I had to rate this film, I'm gonna give it like a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10. It's in that range. It's highly enjoyable if you like your fun, cheesy B movie flicks. Yeah, I highly recommend Frankenstein's Hungry Dead. That's all I gotta really say about it. So, that's it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and comment if you've seen Frankenstein's Hungry Dead. And let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next review. I don't know when it's going to be. Busy week this week for me with the holidays with my work. So, I'll see you when I can. Peace out.